You compare silverware, you compare numbers. I think in the end, it's Klopp's Liverpool that pushed City to where it is right now.
Not just Klopp's performances on the field, but Klopp as a person off the field. The person coming in will feel insane amount of pressure. Let me just introduce both of you. The Harshit, that's Gagana, also a Liverpool fan. Lives in Bangkok. Harshit's also a die-hard Liverpool fan. Lives in London.
Lives in London. Yep, that's correct.
Oh, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Harshit.
Yeah, they're all in 3 different time zones. Huh?
Yes.
No, I'm in India.
So Nirav's in India, so.
Oh, you're in India? Nice.
Yeah, I just came for holiday.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's why I'm like I can do this. Otherwise, it was impossible. This is right now. It's like 6 a.m. in New York. So
yeah.
So basically, we're just gonna have a chill podcast where we're gonna talk about all things Liverpool. Obviously, a lot of things have happened over the last 2 weeks, from the Klopp announcement to like 2 good victories straight up, and now possibly possibly the biggest game of the season coming for both Arsenal and Liverpool at the weekend. Before going into that game, before going into anything, let me just ask you guys about Klopp, the announcement, the time, and where you were at that particular time and how you felt. Let me just start with Gagana. Where were you, and when did you read it, and how did you feel exactly after it?
I was just running errands, and my phone's continuously buzzing, right? So usually I don't keep notifications on except for a few news apps and everything. I'm like, what possibly could go wrong at this time of the day? It was probably evening-ish for me here. And I take my phone, it says, Klopp to leave Liverpool. I said, is there a question mark? No, there has to be a question mark. Because there's somebody predicting, or that's how news run, right? There's a huge headline and then there's a question mark.
Yeah.
So there's no question mark. So I'm like, why? So it just, see, I'm not even overreacting. See, for us, Klopp is, it's just the time when the announcement came. Him leaving, maybe, we predicted it considering his age and time with the club. But at this point, with such an amazing season that's coming up, and then him leaving like this in the middle of the season, it was a shocker. It took me some time to really, take it all in. And later, once I started digging into it, I realized that training staff and a lot of people from the training industry in Liverpool were leaving. And that's when I realized, okay, there is something majorly wrong with the club. That sort of made me feel okay about the situation a little bit, because it was not just Klopp and maybe something bad has happened.
Even I thought that it was like initial reactions were almost of maybe this is false, maybe there's a question mark there, just like you said. Is it speculation or something? Never did I really think that was going to be true. But yeah, same question to Harshit. Dude, where were you and how were your reactions?
I was actually at work, and I was just going through, and it seemed like one of those clickbaity headlines, right? Like, it's like, okay, but I saw like Paul Joyce, who's like a very trusted Liverpool reporter, had sort of tweeted about it, and I was like, wow. And Paul Joyce has a very funny handle, so you have to sort of figure out, okay, if this is a true handle or not. And I saw it, and it was
lowercase and like just no verification, so.
Exactly, and like a profile picture is also like like just some random scribbles on a piece of paper, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people have that, and there are a lot of fake handles out there, but unfortunately, it turned out to be true. To be honest, my reaction was not as shocked as probably other fans, because if you see Klopp's record, he's managed 3 clubs in his career so far. He quit Mainz from 2001 till 2008, and 2008 was the season where I think it was, I don't remember the exact sequence, but it was sort of the season where he wanted to get them promoted back from Bundesliga 2 to Bundesliga 1. He was unsuccessful in doing that. So he felt like he's not the right person. He left. Similarly, 2015, 14-15 season was his last season with Dortmund. He left because that season Dortmund at one point were in the relegation zone. He dragged them up to like a Europa League finish, and he said like, "Listen, I'm not the guy to take this club forward anymore." So if anything, I felt like after last season, he's probably gonna say, "Listen, guys, I've got you till fifth, right, and I'm gonna leave." But then I think it was a bit of a surprise to me personally that he's chosen to stay on, because his management style is so all action, and it's so much driven with how committed he is, right, in terms of his own energy, in terms of how much he puts out with his players, how much of a personal connect he has with his fans, like how much fan mail he responds to. So he's putting his energy into every aspect of the job, and it's bound to take a toll at some point. So I wasn't really surprised. What did surprise me was, yes, that in the middle of this season, that now that he's gotten them back up, I'm like, okay, he would probably want to carry on. But I also feel like there's no good time to announce this, right? Because he's obviously made a decision that, listen, I'm going to leave, right? I'm gassed. After 9 years at the club, I'm gassed. So I'm going to leave. So probably the best time to have known this or announced this was probably at the start of the season, right? So that way, you have a whole season to prepare for what's coming, right? But if he's made a decision in November, right, you obviously can't wait till end of the season, because you want to start selecting a new manager. But I think, what the club did, held it together, held the news together. There were no leaks, there was no speculation, right? And they released it on their own terms. Exactly. And now whenever they go approach a manager, there's no kind of speculation, right? There's no unsettlement within the club. The players know exactly that the manager is leaving, right? So it's not a state of turmoil, it's a state of transition, but it's being executed at the club's own terms, which is the best, I feel.
How much do you think it's up to the club basically saying that, okay, now is the time to announce this, because we need some time to figure out who the manager is, and if we approach someone, there's obviously how long can you keep it in locks, right? Like it's going to be tough to do that if you're approaching managers, and so many, like we'll talk about potential replacements, but so many managers are being approached now by different clubs. A lot of different clubs are going to possibly be managerless towards the end of the season. So this is almost like a competition, and they have to be in it, right? They have to be competitive towards it. They have to approach the manager, tell them the vision. So how much of that is the club, and how much of that is Klopp telling them that, hey, I don't want to? Maybe Klopp wanted to announce it earlier. So Gagana, do you think it should have been announced earlier in the season, or do you think this is probably the right time, because you're in 4 competitions, and maybe this would give the players a little bit of a boost, and this would give the supporters a reason to just get out there and like make sure that he finishes on a high?
Yeah, I think after the announcement, if you see the atmosphere with the fans or with the club, and how Anfield was when Klopp was there for a match, I think now, because we've had such a spectacular season, it wasn't an easy season. We've come from a team that was still somewhere struggling to take wins to a team that was so full in form. And now him announcing will definitely give us a boost, give the players a boost to end the season on a high note, given the fact that there will definitely be competition going forward. Right now, yes, we're clear of a few points, but still, to keep up that form, the wave that we are, I think, that will give us a boost. But I think, like Harshit said, if it was during the start of the season, you never know, right, how the season would have gone if he would have announced it, beforehand. I think, given the situation, I think he announced it at the right time, and I don't know how much of a role club has into announcing it at the time that they did. I think that there is definitely some discussions, and they would have probably made the right choice. But looking at the atmosphere with the fans and the club as a whole, I think now I can see the title is ours without really hesitating, because they will make sure the title is ours. I think all other clubs are also sad that Klopp is leaving, so maybe there's that one thing that I can be a little more sure about now that Klopp is leaving. So
yeah, Chelsea fans are echoing similar feelings about PG Mall making sure Liverpool is going to win all games. But discussion for later. Nothing would make me happier than for Arsenal to be the villain in this party. But we'll talk about that a bit later.
Even after the Chelsea game, Nirav?
yeah. Chelsea, after all, I'm not worried about.
Even after the FA Cup tie that we had earlier in the season.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. After hearing Klopp in his pre-match for Arsenal and saying that, it was almost lucky for Liverpool to win. But yeah, we'll talk more about that later. I wanted to talk a little bit about this energy aspect of Klopp, saying that he's running out of energy. What do you guys think about that? Is it something that is we're coming from a time of Sir Alex Ferguson and Wenger managing 20 odd years and stuff like that. Do you think new managers, they're getting tired more because there's a lot more pressure now, or is it just a Klopp thing? Because Pep has also been managing for almost 9 years now, and he doesn't seem like he's going to stop for another 2-3. What do you think about that?
Yeah, because Harshit, let me tell you, because Pep did not have to train Nunes. So, of course, he trained Nunes for one season and he's like, boss, I'm running out of energy. But anyways, Harshit, go on.
No, I think...
this is another addendum to this. Do you think this is also because he's now made Liverpool 2.0 and, he doesn't see it getting any better, or he thinks that, this is not his team anymore? Something like that.
Definitely don't think that he doesn't feel it's not his team, because obviously it's all the players that he has signed, right? So, and obviously I think he's been in the business long enough to know that every few years, lifespan of a footballer is very short. So I definitely don't think that is the case. What I do think is that yes, because see, we talk about Klopp being perfect for Liverpool or Klopp being the engine behind Liverpool. I think what you also need to realize is Liverpool is also perfect for Klopp, because his management style is emotional, right? His worldview is, if you hear him talk and if you consume all the media that the club puts out about him, his view of the world is very similar to that of the club. The way he's connected with the fans, and the amount of emotional labor that he's invested into the club in responding to all the fan mail. He's been given the freedom of the city of Liverpool, right? Honorary Scouser, all of those things.
Okay.
So it's not just physical energy, right? Obviously, the number of hours a manager puts in a day has also gone up, just simply because of the amount of media that they have to do, right? If you hear it's also about management style. So Alex Ferguson was much more of a sit back kind of driver of the whole club. He wasn't in day to day on training, whereas Klopp invests all of his energy in all areas the manager is supposed to be, right? And add to that the emotional aspect, right? How the fans and the clubs are connected. All of that is bound to take a toll, right? People telling you they love you all the time and there's a whole city gunning for you. It is a lot of pressure. It is a lot of pressure day in and day out, and people, the city of Liverpool, the club of Liverpool, obviously, it's a very emotional club, as you can probably see in our reaction to him leaving, and that is bound to take a toll.
Yeah, good answer. Gagana, you want to add to that?
I've always, as a fan, when I look at legends retire, the people you term as goats retire, right? There are some people that do it at the prime of their career. They want to be remembered for who they were, the greatest. And some people do it because that's what they know how to do. Manager or a driver or a player, they know that is their bread and butter. That's what they know how to do, and they would want to do it for as long as they can. Now with Klopp, I think the sort of emotional, like Harshit rightly mentioned, it's a lot of energy that he's putting in, and what we see is the kind of energy he puts in on the team as a manager on the pitch on game days. That is the sort of energy we associate when we say he's out of energy. But yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a lot that goes in behind. So I think this reminds me of 2016 Mercedes versus Mercedes, where I don't know who is a racing fan here, because this is a very personal moment for me. Because when Nico retired, I was like, dude, this guy actually had the guts to do it, because you give so much of your life into the sport. Right, at one point you're like, I've achieved, boss, this is it, I've reached that stage of contentment. I don't want to have that greed to do more and more and more, because it takes a lot of guts to also realize that moving forward I kind of fall
long enough to become a villain sort of situation.
Exactly. So
Arsene Wenger.
There's a lot of players also. A lot of football players also. Like probably not the best example, Eric Cantona, right? Retired at 30 years of age. He's like, I want to pursue something else, right?
Yeah, that's true. This kind of brings me on to a discussion which is probably more, in thoughts of like rival fans and people, who sort of hate Liverpool, I would say. Not hate, but, just the rival fans and everything. What exactly is Klopp's legacy when it comes to how much he's achieved with Liverpool? I know that with Borussia Dortmund, he had a similar kind of situation where he was there for 7 years. There were 2 league titles. There was 1 Champions League final. And there were, I think, a couple odd cups here and there. So for a club like Borussia Dortmund, that was a great deal, because there was a giant in Bayern Munich. Similar story to in Liverpool, where he has 1 Premier League title in 2020, 1 Champions League title in 2019, 1 FA Cup and 1 League Cup, both in 2022. I mean, a lot of people would say, not coming from me, that in 9 years of time, this is not something which is legendary. Because there have been managers who've had much more success. And, given that like Pep has won 4-5 titles over Klopp, 1 Champions League over Klopp, and many other cups over Klopp. So this era of Pep and Klopp, Pep has clearly, defeated Klopp when it comes to silverware. So I want to hear from Liverpool fans, because I'm sure other fans would have different views on this. But like Liverpool, what do you guys think? Could he have achieved more? Is there like sort of like not a saltiness, but some sort of like regret here that he managed in an era where Pep Guardiola existed?
Not at all. I think as Liverpool fans, when Klopp is leaving, the numbers almost don't matter. I think it's the football that he has delivered, right, which has been fantastic, right? All action, and we look like champions, right? All those years, missing out on the Premier League by 1 point, 97 points, not winning a title, 92 points, not winning a title, 2 Champions League finals, losing out in very unfortunate circumstances, right? So if you think about all of that, right, and from where we were when Klopp came, right, and where he took us, we're amongst, if we had probably the budget to pay Kylian Mbappe's wages, he would not be assessing a choice between any other club against Liverpool, right? So where he has put the club as a whole, and also obviously there's City, and the way City have done it, repeated FFP breaches, Liverpool, very much in operating very much in accordance to FFP. So if you take into the fact the constraints under which Klopp was operating, I feel he's probably the best manager in the world, right? Pep Guardiola, among the best, right? No doubt. What he has done with his teams, the way he coaches them, the amount of spirit that they have, right? But then we have Klopp, and we wouldn't swap him for Guardiola or any other manager in the world. And there's absolutely no difference.
Yeah, I can only say one thing. See, you compare silverware, you compare numbers. I think in the end, it's Klopp's Liverpool that pushed City to where it is right now. It always gave City to look out for something. It was Klopp's Liverpool that did everything. So.
Now, I'm pretty sure, like, even if Klopp's Liverpool did not exist, City was still winning the 6 titles. In fact, they would even win the 2020 title.
See,
Um,
winning is okay, but when
yeah,
you're
yeah, but yeah,
when you're
they
there,
made
you
the Premier
have to
League
be right
like
there.
they made Premier League like way more interesting and like
Yeah.
made it like super exciting.
Mm.
But yeah, again, like the season hasn't ended yet, and there is still expectations that this season could end possibly in a quadruple. Who knows, or maybe a Premier League and an FA Cup. So there is scope to be added to his legacy. What do you see, Gagana, happening at the end of the season? Just primarily because of this announcement, and you see the players being more motivated and possibly ending the season with more silverware to add to his legacy.
Of course, I think that would be the most ideal way to send Klopp off. I think we just have to beat you, and we'll be 8 points clear.
Yes.
So yeah, that'll give us a big stretch to because again, City, I think they have a long gap before they fill in with our points. One thing I'm really scared about is I know the players are going to give their everything this season, but because there's so much emotional investment from Klopp into these players. It's like even the players might just say, yeah, this season I'm gonna do well. This is Klopp's last season. It's all emotional drama, and then they'll be like, yeah, fuck it. I'm not gonna do this under another manager.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is also a probable scenario. And who are the losers? We. We're looking at. We're just focused on Liverpool. That's all. Whoever comes goes. We're just there for the team.
Yeah.
So that is something scary, but yeah, whatever.
So what are we saying? Like, if 0 trophies this year, is he still a legend?
Of course, I don't think. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Like, the fact that
materialistic, Nirav. Having a manager like Arteta, you're so materialistic.
I'm creating a discussion, yo.
and it's a fair discussion. It's actually a fair discussion when you think about it.
This is honestly what rival fans are like, thinking and saying that, okay, at the end of the day, these are the amounts of trophies that Klopp has won. I mean, like, if you ask a genuine football fan who's watched all of the years, watched Liverpool and watched them before, Brendan Rodgers, before that, Roy Hodgson, Kenny Dalglish, that one season, 2011, they know that like where Liverpool has come from and what Klopp has done to Liverpool, and they've seen those teams like that Klopp has built, especially like from that period between 2018 and 2020, they were like dangerous teams, like the best teams in the one of the best teams in the world. And like people also not think about the fact that they were in 3 Champions League finals, and that's not an easy feat. I mean, think about it from an Arsenal fan's perspective. 3 Champions League finals, you don't know what we'll like give up to get that. So I completely understand, but there is obviously, numbers is a discussion, and yeah. Go ahead, Harshit.
Yeah, and if you think about the squad that he had and how he's improved the players, I think that's what differentiates Pep and Klopp as the best managers in the world, because they improve the players that they have, right? Case in point, Trent Alexander-Arnold took him out from the academy, makes him the best right back in the world with a very unique position in which he operates. Andy Robertson was relegated the year before we signed him. Becomes at one point the best left back in the world. Mane signed from Southampton. Salah signed from Roma, had a previous not so good experience in the Premier League, right? Henderson was so maligned throughout his career, but he remained as captain for as long as Henderson was at the club, right? Van Dijk, right? Van Dijk was at Southampton. We paid big bucks for him. We believed in him, but it was very much a punt, right? Joel Matip, right? Second longest serving player in the squad, right? So if you see, and now I think even in the last game, like Chelsea, and you see all the youngsters coming through, right? So his track record of improving the players that we have and just playing with the cards that you have been dealt with and owning them and reveling in them, I think that's what differentiates Klopp. And I think as Liverpool, what's important is, again, I think it's just playing with heart, right? Among the most famous things that we look back to as a club, is that night in Istanbul where we won the 3-all Champions League, and just the sort of spirit that the club showed, and that's what I think the club has stood for. And Klopp has sort of embodied that every match, and we've had so many of these matches. I was in fact watching just the other day the list of legendary matches under Klopp. Right, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable where we've had those moments where we've been down and someone's popped up at the last minute, or we've just absolutely dominated the opposition. We have a 5-0
I think a lot of fans remember so many games, like even the 4-3 Dortmund game, the 4-0 Barca game. So many games like you just pop up in your head and you're just like, wow, those games were like insane. Alisson header. Yeah, this gets me to a simple question. I just wanted to ask you guys, what is your favorite moment in Klopp's Liverpool tenure? Like one, it's going to be a really hard question, but if you had to put one on at top, start with Harshit.
This is an easy one for me. I think Barcelona 4-0. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else which sums up his tenure at the manager. We didn't even have our best team, and we were up against Messi, who trounced us in the first leg. And then I think that was a true 10-on-10 performance by everyone on the pitch. Everyone. I remember the only player having a bad game that day was Shaqiri. And what does he do? He actually gets an assist for Van Aldum's first goal and Liverpool's second. So, there's not a doubt in my mind. Gagana, what do you think?
I think it's the same answer. Even before he asked, I was like, he mentioned Barcelona, and I said, yeah, that it still rings in my ears. The corner, Trent, Gini Van Aldum. I think it's still so fresh. Yeah.
And to be honest, I had no hope before that match. I had absolutely no hope. I still watched it.
You saw Messi's performance at Camp Nou against Barcelona, and Barcelona had just like blown Liverpool to bits in that game, and no one had any expectations at all. So, yeah, probably it's a good question.
Yeah, I think the only reason we ever watched the match.
It's such a hard question, but also such an easy question, right?
Easy question, yeah. So it's like, we're playing against Barcelona. Let's see second time what will happen this time around. Yeah. So it's that confidence that Klopp hai to match hai.
Exactly.
See, even if we're losing and everything, even if we've lost the game, it's that sort of spirit that we have throughout that 90 minutes that, yes, something's going to happen. Somebody's going to perform outstandingly well.
Yeah,
I think every Liverpool fan, see, you can be in different corners of the world, but the kind of feeling a Liverpool has during the 90 minutes in regards to Klopp or the team will be similar. That's what it is, that is how he's made us, that's how he's made the fans feel. You can be sitting in different latitudes, but you'll be feeling the exact same feelings, the exact same emotions. You're all like one big fandom watching from across, all around the world. It's that
absolutely feeling. Like, these are not even achievements which now people count, right? 2021-22 season when we reached the Champions League final. En route to doing that, we beat both Inter Milan and AC Milan at the San Siro. Right?
Yeah, incredible achievement.
Even though they're not at their peak, right? San Siro, iconic ground. So many epic Champions League battles have taken place, and Liverpool sliced through those teams. And we went into it as favourites, and we won it without any challenge. That's what Klopp did. So, and all of this is immeasurable to what he brought to us as a club.
Yeah, that gets me to my favorite moment of Klopp. I know Barcelona was probably top of the lot, but I was sort of supporting Barcelona in that, so I don't remember it as like a very interesting, very exciting. Every goal that Liverpool was scoring, I was like, fuck no, there's no way. And then it was just incredible. But for me, if I had to put it one thing again, the 2021-22 CL run was very, very dominating for Liverpool, and then reaching the CL final, that was crazy. But that all was possible because of them qualifying for the Champions League last season season before that through Alisson's last minute header, which is just mind blowing. And I watched that game live and I was just like, what the fuck just happened? Never seen goalkeepers score goals like that, and last minute winners, no fucking way. And that was the season where I thought, okay, this team is going to fall off. They're going to probably not qualify for Champions League. Finally, something's going to happen. And, there'll be scope for someone else to challenge for Man City and something else. But no, even that season, something comes by. There's something memorable about every season. Even last season, regardless of whatever happened, couldn't qualify for Champions League, there is 7-0. Every season, there is one moment which is just insane. So that's probably it for me.
Exactly. I think you summarized it the best.
Yeah. All right, awesome. Now comes the hard part of the podcast, where I sort of talk about who could come in, who could take up the mantelpiece, who could take up Liverpool 2.0 and take it to the next level, take it to the next stage. And it's going to be so hard to replicate. It's not just Klopp's performances on the field, but Klopp as a person off the field. Just how he is to the city, to everyone involved with Liverpool. The person coming in will feel insane amount of pressure, just like Unai Emery felt at Arsenal, just like David Moyes felt at Manchester United. It's going to be a similar sort of situation, just like anyone who's going to succeed, Pep will feel. But even more than Pep, because Klopp is connected to the city in a different level than Pep connected to Manchester. So yeah, Harshit, who do you think? I mean, here this also probably has an obvious answer, but who do you want truly from your heart to come in and take you to the next level?
But truly from my heart, I think obviously there's one name, and I sort of subscribe to that, which is Xabi Alonso, right? And the reason being, again, I think when he came, I remember having this discussion with Akash, who you might remember from the last time, and we had a pretty heated argument. And that time, Alonso was quite new in the job and he was doing a great job. But then 22 years, what he has done with Leverkusen is again what Klopp has done, which is he's improved the existing players. Right? He's not spent a whole lot of money. He's improved the existing players. He's extremely tactical. And you would have seen that video of Mourinho describing Alonso's career, right? The managers that he has worked with, the place in the pitch he was, all the trophies that he's won with the national team and his clubs. So if you combine all of that, I feel individual characteristics he definitely has. He has a track record of success as a player. And then if you see what he's doing as a manager, right, I think it's a punt worth taking. And also because I think what Liverpool got right with Klopp was that they got a long-term project and they backed him, right? He said, I'll deliver the first trophy in 4 years, right?
Yeah.
And there was consistent appreciation of the improvement that he was delivering year on year, right? So as a Liverpool fan, as a pragmatic Liverpool fan, and having seen some of the transitions now, right, in my years of watching football, I'm quite okay if, Liverpool, suppose, don't win any trophies for the next 2 or 3 years, right? And after a seismic shift like the one that we currently undergo in the summer, it would be foolish to expect someone to come in and replace him like to like. You have to give the new manager his time to and his space to, and to establish his personality, establish his style of play, and give them the best chance to succeed. And that won't happen in one season, and that is what I fear happens a lot in modern day football, where managers are given like half a season, right? Few bad games, oh my god, we're shit, right? Everything's going to hell, let's get rid of the manager, let's bring someone new, right? Which is where Manchester United have repeatedly gone wrong, right? And now they're sort of even when they sack managers, it's like they're evaluating against like a sunk cost fallacy of some sorts, right? So that's what I think Liverpool really need to get right. And I think with Alonso, you have someone who knows the club, you have someone who's young, hungry, can embark on a long-term project, and has a track record of improving players. If he wins the Bundesliga, just think about the size of the achievement, right? He wins again. He defeats Bayern Munich.
Almost like Klopp-esque. It's so similar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
and perfectly falling into the fact that Ancelotti has signed a year's contract, and this is probably the perfect time to come in. The only reason that I see Alonso not coming to Liverpool is if he wants to wait for the Real Madrid job, but I think it's just an opportunity too good to miss right now for Alonso, just because of how the team is shaping up for Liverpool, and but there is also going to be a lot of scrutiny, it's going to be a very tough job to come into for him, and especially because the philosophies aren't exactly similar, so it's going to be it's going to be tough to implement his philosophy, and also not really eradicate all of the work that Klopp has done. Keep the same sort of high pressure, high energy football. It'll be really interesting. Gagana, what are your thoughts? Who do you want?
I think Alonso is everybody's favorite right now for all the right reasons. We've had one guy come into our club from a German league, and you are seeing where we are right now. So maybe second time's a true luck again. But like Harshit said, of course, we need to give them some time to find their space, find their rhythm. And I think our fandom is not as toxic as some other clubs. We'll be nice to him, even if he comes in and doesn't get us trophies. But one thing is, Klopp, I think after last game, I've realized what Klopp has been doing so far. After Chelsea's game is when I realized, okay, this guy's made us ready for another 2-3 seasons. Provided, I'm only talking about how he shaped up the players. What the players do with their careers is secondary, but how he shaped up players, how he shaped up the young guns, it looks like we need some sort of supervision and some sort of good management overall for the next 2-3 years until he finds his rhythm, the new manager, and then maybe we can find our momentum, right? So it's going to be...
Recently I was reading about the fact that he was going to leave 2 years ago, and apparently his wife told him that you can stay, and he was also, the background staff and everyone was like, okay, we need, right now is not a good moment. So very selflessly he went through, built a team properly, and brought it to this level. We are gone.
Exactly. So now we just have to, Alonso, I was reading that he's had an unbeaten run, right? So that also gives us some sort of hope. And like Harshit was saying, he's good in shaping players. That's what Liverpool also needs, although not so much as Klopp. See, that sort of pressure is taken away from whoever comes next. Because like I said, Klopp has provided us that generational talent right now. We have that set ready. We just have to put them in right places and just play our cards right. So whoever comes next just has to do that initially, and later he can take on with his own style of managing.
Yeah, good answer. Where do you see Klopp going next, Asha? That's also another interesting debate here. Because that's going to hurt you guys. Like, regardless of where he goes, I mean, he already mentioned that he's not going to manage a club in England, and I truly believe him. This is not going to be a Rafa Benitez. It's not going to be a Jose. So I truly believe the fact that he's going to stick up to his word and not manage another English club. But he will manage a big club next, and there are only a few options. There's like your Bayern Munich, your Real Madrid, Barcelona. I don't see any other option here, and they're going to be direct rivals for Champions League for you guys.
That is true, and that's what's going to hurt, because he's going to be with someone else. But I don't think it's going to be a club. I think it might be the German national team, right? I'm not sure how they're doing with Nagelsmann now, but obviously under Hansi Flick, they weren't that successful, right? And I think the German national team are going to want him, regardless of how Nagelsmann does, right? It sounds a little brutal, right? But obviously Klopp has a better track record of success, and if 26, right? If Klopp is given 2 years, I think he can make Germany really successful. I mean, it's wishful thinking, obviously,
Yeah, wouldn't that be perfect for all Liverpool fans that like he doesn't manage any other club and just goes manage German national team? I honestly like don't see that happening at all because of his management style. It's so like working every single day, connecting with not just the players, the staff, the city, everything. I don't think that international management would be something that he's gonna enjoy himself. Maybe he sees it as a different, maybe whatever he said right now about the fact that he's lacking energy and he wants to just chill out in life. He uses that to international management is obviously more chill, but I don't see it. I think that he would thrive the best working every single day. And I'm pretty sure within a year's time he's going to start missing everything, and that's what happens usually. Right now he has that pressure on his head, and he hasn't had a break for 24 or 22, 23 odd years. Even like between Mainz and Dortmund, there was a very short break. Between Dortmund and Liverpool, there wasn't even like 4 months. It was just 4 months. And now it's going to be a year. So we'll see how, what happens and who approaches him. But I totally see him going to one of the big guns. Either, I don't see Barcelona, but I do definitely see either Bayern or Real Madrid. These are the two. I don't see him going to Juventus or any other club because they're not big enough right now. But yeah, Bayern would be my.
But I don't think Bayern though. Dortmund. I don't think Bayern simply because of his connection with Dortmund, right? And I honestly think he's like the kind of guy he might just go to Dortmund again. And I honestly, that's like the second best. That's the second best scenario that I'm hoping for. Right? He has a connection with the city. He has a connection with the club, right? Because
what about Real Madrid? Ancelotti has 1 more year left on his contract. He's gonna manage for 1 year, and Madrid is like it would be a really good destination for Klopp. I know he said once he wants to go to a place only. He only manages places where he can speak the language and like connect with the players and everything. Doesn't speak Spanish, but still, man, Real Madrid is is the best club in the world. Who can say no to Real Madrid?
I think if I remember correctly, right? Then and this is all press speak. I don't know how much of this is true, but he had the offer to go to Man United after David Moyes, right? And he turned that down. He had the offer to do that. And Man United had 1 bad season. Now they've had like 10 bad seasons after Alex Ferguson. But at that point, they had 1 bad season. So they were a very attractive proposition for Klopp. So having observed Klopp and watched him through the years, I feel, he's not the kind of guy who, I think he does everything from the heart, right? So, and while Madrid, obviously, they are, Madrid is probably the biggest job in football, right? But I don't think, as I said, Klopp is the kind of guy the club needs to appeal to him as well. So to bring the best out of him, right? And Liverpool was that club. Dortmund was that club, small knit, tightly, small, sort of smallish city, working class fans, working class roots, and that's how he's able to establish that connection. And I just don't think that there's gonna be that connection with the Madrid fans. Klopp is used to, his players being lifted up when they are performing at their absolute worst, right? And when you see, Madrid fans booing your own players, right? It's just doesn't seem Klopp. And this is not me being a Liverpool fan, it's just me having observed him and seen him. It doesn't feel a fit, right? If you think of the players and what he can do with them, obviously, right? But what the club, I just don't see a synergy with him.
Klopp is the kind of guy, if he's saying he doesn't have the energy to manage a club, you better believe he really means what he is giving out as a reason. So, Real Madrid again.
But Real Madrid is probably the biggest energy suckers out there.
They do have a lot of potential managers that are looking into, right? So,
Nirav, let me ask you this: would you take Klopp over Arteta at Arsenal?
Which version of Klopp? See, if you tell me, I would take Klopp over the last few years of Wenger, but right now, no, I'm not going to take Klopp. Like not this version of Klopp, obviously, because he's already managed Liverpool. Which version is very important, because if he hadn't managed Liverpool and he was just coming out of Dortmund, I'd take him in a heartbeat. But right now, he's gone through everything that he has to go through in English football, and Arteta is just starting out. Arteta is hungry, and he has. I've already mentioned this. I think he has a huge potential and a really high ceiling. So I don't want to give that up right now. He has connections to the club, which is important, right? Just the fact that you guys want Xabi Alonso, Arteta. Every Arsenal fan, not every, but 70% of us want him to do well. Because of his connections to the club and because of how rooted he is to the club, the city and everything. He's kind of like our club. Obviously, he's not as fun. He's not as, happy, and he's not as impressionable. He's not as exciting like that, but he is his own version of things. And I think he's going to be a top manager in world football. We'll see that super soon, in my opinion. But anything could go. Football is a funny game. So not right now. I want to stick to. But if you ask a United fan, they'd definitely take any version of Klopp over anything.
For sure. Yeah, given all the debacles that they've had.
Yeah, and Nihal was just talking about if Nani wouldn't have gotten that red card against Real Madrid, United would have gone on to win the Champions League, and then Klopp would have come to United. Things would have been different. A lot of alternate theories have been floated in our podcast. But
yeah, I saw that. I saw that. But then again, it's just, I feel like Klopp and Liverpool was always meant to be. It's like that love story,
Yeah. It is. Yeah. And that's why I just don't see any other club coming in. I don't see any other options anymore, for Klopp, because that city, the love, the excitement, I don't see any other club replicating that. If Barcelona did not have, their board, I would see maybe Barcelona as a good option because they have a city, they have a connection to the city. But because of how Barcelona are operated, I don't think that's possible at all. So going back to Dortmund could be interesting. That would be something that I could see happening.
Dortmund, Italy. I honestly think
nothing. Honestly, think about it. There's nothing. There is nothing left. Bayern is not possible. I don't think Klopp would do that. Real Madrid is the only one I can think of. I just can't think of options for him. So he just chill out now, retire in peace. All's well. 3 league titles.
I think if Simeone leaves, if Simeone is tired, right, in a year or two, I think Atletico could be a very good club too for him to go to. Again, they're punching up, need to break through Real, and which they have under Simeone, right? Very aggressive manager, from one aggressive manager to the other. I think Atletico could be.
I don't see. It's just varying footballing philosophies. They would have to change everything up there. Liverpool still before Klopp were kind of in a similar. They've been playing the sort of football that Klopp, not exactly, but in the same vein. Atletico is just absolutely different. I can see Jose Mourinho going there. Klopp.
Oh yeah, that would be some combination.
That would be an interesting, very, very match made in heaven sort of combination.
Yeah.
Ending the discussion on Klopp, guys. Just taking one final pick from you guys for Liverpool, who will be managing Liverpool next season. Just one pick, quick, Harshit.
Xabi Alonso.
Gagana?
+1, Alonso.
Come on.
See, we did have potential Roberto come in between, but I think I don't know, man. Brighton is just in form, and I don't know, managing style with the kind of squad we have. That was the second best option, but I think Alonso is everybody's favorite.
I'm gonna say Thomas Frank just because I can.